Welcome back to the biggest channel on YouTube. Now, in today's video, we're going to be discussing the latest Insomniac tweets in regards to Marvel Wolverine. Now, before we get into the video, just know we're going to be joined by a guest of honor today, superhero related, so please do make sure to check out his content on his channel because he makes amazing content too. I also want to mention I made a video about 3 days ago in regards to Marvel Spiderman 2 DLC, and I would suggest that you go check out this video just to have a clearer context of the whole discussion. Now, before we dive into the topic, please do make sure to like the video, share with your friends, and also do consider to subscribe if you like the content. And obviously, look, we are speculating, no one knows for sure, but we are trying to deliver you the best news ever, and also with a bit of discussion just to make it fair for everyone from every point of view. Now, we are welcoming you to get down to the comment section and let us know what your side of things are and how you see this playing out. And with that being said, let's dive straight in. Okay, so basically we're going to talk about Insomniac's recent tweet, right? So they literally tweeted, I think a user was asking them when they're going to get the next Sunset Overdrive, and Insomniac replied saying, hey, we're focusing on making Marvel's Wolverine, right? So what that insinuates is Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC is not happening, or it might not be happening. What do you think?
I think it's definitely going to happen. It's still a thing.
Why
right?
do you think so? Give me reasons.
Because I think that people got to take in consideration that, yeah, even though it was a ransomware attack, right? I think people are trying to go back to what they did 5-6 years ago, Marvel Spider-Man 2018. The DLC was already talked about before the game was even, dropped.
Exactly.
They already hinted towards DLC, right? But now you have to take in consideration this is a bigger game. You have obviously different graphic designs that are for this game opposed to Marvel Spider-Man 2018, and people got to take in consideration, like, the ransomware attack, like you just said. If even though they're talking about Wolverine, they said they're busy with Marvel's Wolverine. They did not say that we don't have DLC. That's not nothing that they saying. So somebody like me who try to look at the optimistic part of the spectrum, you want to think and take in consideration that Insomniac Games made millions off of, they had to sell 7 million copies to hit that 300 million budget they did. They sold 11 to 12 million copies, right? So they profited from Marvel Spider-Man. So for people to think that DLC is not coming, I mean, it might not be when they want it to come. It might not be 3-4 months after the game.
Hold on. Yeah, go on.
But
Finish.
people have to take in consideration that it is going to come even outside the ransomware attack. It's like months have been going by. We've gradually been getting information about Wolverine. We've been getting the Great Webs already out there. I haven't seen anything about Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC.
Exactly. That's the point. That's the point.
But the hint when they did the upgrade where you can change the tendril color and all of that, we saw villain arc of the Beetle. So we know
but
that
who said there's something in that file? That could be empty files, bro. Check this out. They got hacked, right? So a lot of the footages was stolen. So we've seen Marvel Spider-Man 3, we've seen the Great Web, which is a cancelled game. We've also seen Marvel Wolverine as well, right? But they've not released anything in regards to Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC. So if they've been working on this DLC and they're literally deep into this DLC, like they're like quite the finishing end of it, don't you think the hackers would have got footage of the DLC as well and released it? Hold on. They've released stuff coming out like in the next 5 to 6 years, but they've not released anything that's just as close as a DLC. So is the DLC even in the making? Marvel Spider-Man 3. That's literally a gameplay right now of Cinder Moon swinging in New York. I sent it to you.
I have to see that.
That's legit. That's
Marvel Spider-Man. That could be mods.
No. It's real, bro. It's legit. That's why Sadat the Gamer made a video about it. Marvel Spider-Man 3 about Elite. So I went to go search. I was searching for it, and I found Cinder Moon literally like a female spider. Like it looks like Marvel Spider-Man 2, but it's Cinder Moon because the costume, she looks like a woman, bro. Like it's definitely like a female spider swinging in New York. So if they've got access to things like Marvel Spider-Man 3, which is like PS6 game, I would say, like next 5 years, they've got Marvel Wolverine, they've got the Great Web. We've not seen anything leaked for Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC, bro. Not even one thing, not even like a hint leaked, bro. If they've worked on this DLC and let's say it's supposedly coming out, let's say for this year or maybe early next year, right? Don't you think they'll have a huge amount of it in the works that it's impossible not for the hackers to get their hands on it and possibly release it?
That's why I said I think DLC is still coming. If they like Marvel Spider-Man 2018 DLC was, like I said, already talked about before the game even. That was already done.
That's true.
The City That Never Sleeps was already done before the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. So right, let's just say they took files of items that weren't were still in the making. Marvel Wolverine still in the making. Spider-Man the Great Web was still in the making, but it was a canceled game. Marvel Spider-Man 3 is still in the making, right? So if they're already done with DLC, that's probably in a file somewhere that the hackers didn't get.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That's what people are not understanding.
You're just playing guesses right now, bro.
No, I'm you have to take that in consideration, because if Marvel Spider-Man 2018 DLC was already done before the game was already even out, they were already showed DLC. They talked about DLC before the game itself. So you have to think they would already put that in a file that's like done and upcoming. You know, people got to take that in consideration. Like, yeah, they're going to work on Marvel's Wolverine. That's really what they need to focus on right now, because everything for Marvel Wolverine is out. Plot, costumes, playable characters, gameplay.
Let me tell you why they have to work on Marvel's Wolverine, right? So PlayStation invested a lot of money in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Yes, Insomniac did make profit of the game, right? But I think the game cost about $200 million to make, right? Or 300, more or less.
300, yeah.
200 to make the game, 100 million like in marketing, all that kind of stuff, right? So they made it, for them to make the money back, they had to sell out about 7 million copies or whatnot, right? So the money is made back, and for them to make profit, and remember, they have to pay Disney for the license, bro. They gotta pay Disney or Marvel. I think it's probably Disney who owns Marvel. They gotta pay them for the license, and Disney is really expensive. So now, how much did they actually make in profit? And hold on, I know the game is like 6 months old. It's been out for six to 8 months now, right? So you probably want to give it like a year or two for it to now make maybe double the money, and then maybe by then releases on PC, which is then a huge market for more people to get to play the game. Maybe then we might see how much it finally made. But as of right now, they've not made that much. They haven't. Yeah. So PlayStation, like, looking at things from the business standpoint of things, you're not going to sink in more hundreds of millions in the same game, right? You want to put it into a new game for them to then push it out by 2025, which was the original schedule. Because if they delay the game and they go and work on the DLC, which they've not started on yet, that's going to leave a 1 year gap where they don't make any money. Are you following, bro?
Yep. Yeah, cool.
That's what I'm saying. So it makes sense for them to make the Marvel Wolverine, right? And then the DLC might come sometime, or probably not even come, bro. Like the DLC might just be something that the fans are rumoring about because of how the 2018 game went. And it, you know, maybe Insomniac's not done anything about it, because if you think about it, they've never hinted about making any DLC, and at the same time, they haven't hinted about not making any DLC. So they could be working on something, but it might just not be the DLC. It might just not be what people are expecting. Kind of. It might even come like a year later, or 2 years later down the line, because we've got games like God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. All these games took like a year plus to come out in terms of, you know, DLC or any expansion towards the game, because it takes money and time to make these games. And that's how I see it. Because if they were making a DLC, it's either they wouldn't have said anything, but they made it clear we are focusing. They said we, that means the whole studio, because they got hit so hard. Because if you check it, right, in the 3 items that have been leaked so far, Marvel Spider-Man 3, The Great Web, and Wolverine, which one's closer to release?
The Marvel's Wolverine.
They gotta get that shit out, bro. They have to get the game out. That's why they have to get it out. So obviously the whole team is just focused on Marvel Wolverine. Every other thing is just on standby, or probably not gonna get done at the end of the day, apart from Marvel Spider-Man 3, which has to get done obviously. But when it comes to like the DLC, you know, it's kind of 50-50. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the thing is that too, right? You're absolutely right about what you're saying, but you have to take in consideration, whenever you're paying these companies like Marvel, Disney, and stuff like that, they're going to constantly keep making money regardless, because that's their IP. You know, Sony has Spider-Man IP, so you have to pay Sony, you have to pay Marvel. Insomniac Games is going to make their money, right? Again, going back to Marvel Spider-Man 2018.
No.
From the years,
Insomniac Games don't have to pay Sony. They're on the Sony.
They're under the same primary parent company, basically. Yeah. So when you do pay Marvel, right? Let's just say that, because you still have to take in consideration that, like, each one of these, even though they're under the same parent company, somebody has to get paid, right? WB Games Montreal, Rocksteady. You know what I mean? So everybody has to pay. You know what I mean?
When it comes to WB Games, I don't think Rocksteady or Montreal are paying anyone, because all these games or IPs are owned by WB.
Yeah, but they're the lower branch company. So WB Games is head up top. Then it slides down WB Games Montreal to the left. Then WB Rocksteady to the right. It's kind of like a triangle. You know what I mean? So if we're taking in consideration like Marvel Spider-Man 2018, right? DLC was already announced, like I said. From the year of 2020 to 2024, Marvel Spider-Man 2018 has still sold like 50 million copies just from those 4 years alone. So the money is going to still constantly keep coming. Like, it doesn't stop. You know, there are people that didn't buy this game for full price. Obviously, pre-order $100. People that didn't pre-order, right? It goes on sale $40. It might go on sale. You might catch it for 20. The Steam, if you're a PC player, you want to mod the game. Once it releases for a PC, right? PC players are going to be able to buy it. They're going to buy mods, you know, things like that. So the game is still going to constantly bring in revenue to where, like, Disney doesn't get their money like, you know, they get a nice chunk of it up front, like a percentage wise, obviously, right? But as the game continues to grow, Disney's still getting paid. It doesn't stop. Their money doesn't stop. So as long as it's
you have to get like a certain threshold in terms of percentage, like
exactly.
It's about 30%. Is that what Disney takes? 20%? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But like, I know that
they're still going to take a percentage, right? Look at it percentage wise. So if you sell, you know, $100 million worth of copies, you know, if you make $100 million in profit, Disney's going to take 30% of that. If you make 70% of profit, they're going to take 30% of that. If you make 50 million percent of, you know what I mean? Like, the percentage is what the percentage is. Like, if you make Insomniac Games and Sony, if they make $1 billion, Disney's going to still take 30%. If that's what they're taking, you know what I mean? Well, the percentages doesn't stop based on a threshold that they reach. It's royalties. They're going to constantly keep making their money. You know, like it's like if you a songwriter, right? And you're a big hit like Drake. You know, you're a rapper Drake. You got your song playing in a movie. Man, Drake's gonna, if that song goes into commercials, goes into another movie years from now, Drake's gonna get paid from that still. You know, his producer company is still gonna get paid from that. And this could be 20, 30, 40 years down the line. It's called royalties. They're still going to constantly make money off of these things, right? So if I'm thinking right, I'm trying to stay as optimistic as possible. If Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC is going to be coming out, it's either still in development or it's already done. Like, obviously they want to take care of the game that's been hit the most, which is Marvel Wolverine. Even if they are pushing it out, they still got to take their time because Insomniac Games, it's like we talked about on the last podcast. They got 3 trilogies: 2018, Miles Morales, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Ratchet and Clank. Marvel Spider-Man 2 was the best-selling game for the PlayStation 5 as of right now. Marvel Spider-Man 2. So if they do have DLC coming out, it's potentially already done. They just didn't announce anything. They're waiting to announce it. We don't know.
So your final answer is the DLC is in the making and it's definitely coming based on what they said.
Yeah. I don't see Insomniac Games not making DLC for Marvel Spider-Man 2. The only way I see them putting that on hold is if they make the standalone Venom game that Jeff Grubb talked about, and they say that's going to be Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC. It's a possibility. We know Harry went back in the tank. Eddie Brock's confirmed
Venom gave us a DLC, bro. That's another far out. You're literally stretching it out, bro.
Look, Marvel Spider-Man 2018, Spider-Man Miles Morales was originally supposed to be a piece of the DLC. They made Miles Morales his own video game. So that Miles Morales was supposed to be Marvel Spider-Man 2018 DLC. That standalone game that we got.
Okay.
2 years later, that was supposed to be DLC for 2018.
Say less. We'll let the people in the comment section decide, right? We'll let them decide. Because from my point of view, obviously, we've seen what's on deck right now, what has been leaked, and there's no trace of Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC. But every other game they've been working on so far, we've had a glimpse of it. Do you know what I mean? So realistically speaking, they haven't even confirmed that the game is going to get, you know, a release, or if they're working on the DLC here and there. But at the same time, they haven't denied making any DLC. But I guess the fans are taking example from Marvel Spider-Man 2018, where we had, you know, a free segment DLC release, which makes sense. And for a game as successful as Spider-Man 2, it makes sense to milk it further and make it DLC. That all makes sense. But I'm just talking about evidence of things we can see with our 2 naked eyes, okay? So with that being said, thank you for joining the video. And here we have it, guys, right at the end of the video. If you like the content, remember to smash the like button, share with your friends. Let us know down in the comment section below what your thoughts are, because we want to go through them and see what the community is saying in regards to the whole dilemma and the whole, you know, kind of confusion going on right now with Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. And also, like I mentioned in the start of the video, for more news and information in regards to Marvel Spider-Man 2's DLC, make sure to check out this video right here. But anyways, with that being said, I'm going to catch you guys in my next one. See ya. Skadoosh.